Welcome to PhilotiMaths, fighting problems one step at a time.
Hello and welcome to PhilotiMaths. Today we're having a lesson on factorising using a common factor. Let's have a look at an example. Okay, so in this first example we want to factorise 6a plus 3. Now factorise means we want to simplify this expression by using brackets. And the way we do that is we want to find the highest common factor of 6a and 3, and this will go outside our brackets. So let's start with the numbers to start with. We've got a 6 here and a 3 here. And what is the highest common factor of 6 and 3? Well, the highest number that divides both 6 and 3 is just 3. So this goes here, and it goes outside our brackets. Now we've got to fill in inside the brackets. So the first thing we need to do is find something that multiplies by 3 to give 6a. Well, 2 multiplies by 3 to give 6, but we don't just want 6, we want 6a, so we're going to need an a here as well, so that 2a times 3 is 6a. And then we copy the plus that we've got here, and we need another number here that multiplies by 3 to give 3. Well, that number is simply 1, because 1 times 3 is 3. So we've now factorised this expression using the common factor of 3. Okay, in this next example we want to factorise 16x plus 20y, and we're going to do this in the same way by trying to find the highest common factor of 16x and 20y. So we'll start with the numbers again, 16 and 20, and what is the highest common factor of these two numbers? What is the highest number that divides 16 and 20? Well, that number is 4. So we're going to write that outside our brackets. Now, inside the brackets, the first thing we need is something that multiplies by 4 to give 16x. Well, 4 times 4 is 16, but because we want 16x, we're going to need an x here as well. So that 4x times 4 is 16x. And then again, we're going to copy the plus like we did before. And now we need something that multiplies by 4 to give 20y. Well, 5 multiplies by 4 to give 20, but because we want 20y, we're going to need a y here as well. So that 5y times 4 is 20y. So we've now factorised this expression again, and it's 4 multiplied by 4x plus 5y. Okay, so now we want to factorise 18 minus 24x, so we need to find the highest common factor of 18 and minus 24x. So we'll start with the numbers. We've got an 18 and we've got a 24. And what is the highest common factor of these two numbers? Well, that number is 6, because that's the highest number that goes into both 18 and 24. So we're going to write that outside our brackets. And then inside the brackets, the first thing we want is something that multiplies by 6 to give 18. Well, that's going to be a 3, because 3 times 6 is 18. And then this time we've got a minus, so we've got to copy that down here in the brackets. And now we need something that multiplies by 6 to give 24x. Well, 4 multiplies by 6 to give 24, but because we want 24x, we've got to put an x here as well, so that 4x times 6 is 24x. So we've now factorised this expression as 6 multiplied by 3 minus 4x. In this example, we want to factorise 15x minus 9x squared. So what we want to do is find the highest common factor of 15x and 9x squared, and that's going to go outside our brackets. So let's start with the numbers like we did before. What is the highest common factor of 15 and 9? Well, that number is 3. So we're going to write that outside the brackets, but we're not going to draw the brackets just yet because we've actually got an x in both of these terms here. So what we can do is we can write an x next to the 3, and now we can draw our brackets. So what we want here is something that multiplies by 3x to give 15x. Well, 5 multiplies by 3 to give 15. So if we've got an x as well, it means 5 multiplies by 3x to give 15x. So we're done here now, and we can copy this minus and move on to the next term. So now we need something that multiplies by 3x to give 9x squared. Well, if we look at the numbers, we're going to need a 3 here, because 3 times 3 is 9. And now if we look at the x's, we've only got one x here, but we've actually got an x squared here. Now remember, x squared is x times x. So what we need is another x here, so that it multiplies together to get an x squared. So now this expression is fully factorised as 3x multiplied by 5 minus 3x. Okay, so now we want to factorise 20ab minus 15ac. So we want to find the highest common factor of these two terms here. So we'll start with the numbers again. We've got a 20 and we've got a 15. So what is the highest common factor of these two numbers? Well, that number is 5, so we're going to write that here. Now, we're not going to open our brackets just yet because we notice that in both these terms we've actually got an a, which means that this a is also a common factor of the two terms. And any common factors go outside the bracket, so that a is going to go there. Now, what about the b? Well, b actually only appears in the first term and not the second term, so b isn't a common factor. So we're not going to write that outside the brackets. And the same goes for c. It only appears in the second term and not in the first term, so that isn't a common factor either. So now we're ready to open our brackets. We've got all our common factors outside the brackets. So now let's look at the inside of these brackets. We want something that multiplies by 5a to give 20ab. Well, let's think about the numbers. 5 multiplies by 4 to give 20. But we want 20ab. Well, we've already got an a here, but we actually need a b as well. So we're going to need to put a b here. So that 4b times by 5a is 20ab. So now we can copy the minus down and we can move on to the second term. So we need something that multiplies by 5a to give 15ac. Well, 3 multiplies by 5 to give 15. So that means that 3 multiplies by 5a to give 15a. But we need a c as well, so we're going to need to put the c here. So that 3c times 5a is 15ac. And we've now factorised this expression as 5a multiplied by 4b minus 3c. Okay, thanks for watching. This has been a short lesson on factorising using common factors. Have you suffered from a maths-related injury in the last 4 months?
You're in the right channel. Welcome to PhilotiMaths!
What even is that?
Subscribe.
Subscribe.